Welcome back, friends, to Stoned in the AM. This is January 26th, 2015, and I'm actually going to be bringing you some real news today. Alright, so in world news, gas prices, if you guys have been living under a rock or just not paying attention to the news at all recently, maybe you wouldn't have noticed that gas prices are half the price they were a year ago. Now, I know you're thinking, Chris, that's impossible. A year ago, gas prices in my town were over $3.50. Go outside, go look at your gas pumps, because I guarantee you it's true. Gas prices all across the U.S. dropping under $2. Now that's only if you've missed the news in the past 2 weeks. Basically, gas prices are going back up because OPEC is finally giving in to this price war with Russia because Russia can't afford to keep paying the prices and keep competing with them. OPEC's actually doing a pretty good job of monopolizing this market on their own. Now, OPEC, for those of you who don't know, is the Middle Eastern company that is actually producing a lot of the oil that people are buying these days. Now, OPEC's been trying to really lower the price and just completely drive out all competition, specifically against Russia. But a big impact we're seeing from that is that a lot of local companies, like in Idaho and across the U.S. that are drilling are actually going to be making less money and possibly going out of business, possibly switching over to different routes. So we may actually see less oil companies even though the gas prices have been so low, specifically because OPEC's been lowering these prices. All right. In other news, the League Championship Series happened this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and talk about that at the very end of this video so that you guys can just stop the video there if you don't want spoilers. I'm just going to give you a heads up for what's going on. Alright. In other news, technology-related news. Now, I'm not sure how many of you know about this thing called graphene. It's basically graphite molecules that are spread out so thin and so delicately, but they still conduct electricity, and they just are basically good conductors overall. First time I heard about them is when I heard about the night vision contacts that were actually being developed for the military. Maybe thinking, what do night vision contacts have to do with graphene? And I'll tell you, audience, graphene is such a thin substance for conducting just any sort of electricity and any sort of pulse that we can actually use it in flexible screens. It's that small. Now, I know this sounds really cool, it sounds kind of futuristic, sounds like stuff we won't have time to really mess with because it probably is expensive to make, and you're not wrong. Basically, the only way we used to be able to make this is by sticking a piece of tape over a line of graphene over and over and over again, until we got such a thin layer that we could actually use it as graphene. And at this rate, it used to cost, I think, about $1,000 or 1,000 pounds. It was a European article that I read, but 1,000 pounds per I think square centimeter of usable material. And this guy at Delft University actually figured out a way to make it synthetically using, I think, copper. And I'll actually put a link to this in the description if you guys want to take a look at it. It's a super interesting read. But they're looking at lowering the cost of production by about a factor of 1,000. It used to cost about 1,000 pounds to produce, now it costs 1 pound to produce it synthetically. And I know you're asking, is it as good? It's actually looking like yes. Yes, it is as good. So hopefully in the next couple of years we're going to see a lot more flexible screens. We're going to see a real influx in just micro-technology in general. Alright. Now, on the rumor mill, we have Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg making a new movie. Now, for those of you who don't know, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are the brilliant authors behind the movies Pineapple Express, The Interview, and This Is the End. The Interview obviously being most recent. Very good movie. Not going to talk about it here very much since it's so new, but I enjoyed it quite a lot. I recommend you go seek it out, especially if you enjoy Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Oh, that's on instant streaming now. Netflix, and I know for a fact it's on Netflix, so I'm sure you can find it out there. Go watch it. It's good. I enjoyed it. Well, anyway, on the rumor mill, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are going to be making a new movie based on a book called Console Wars. Now, this book takes place in the 90s and is about the big battle between Sega and Nintendo that happened back then. So they're going to be actually scripting this into a movie. I'm actually really excited to see where they take it, since it was such a good book. Microsoft HoloLens, people. Alright. So basically, it looks like Microsoft took a page out of Google Glass's book and actually started developing an augmented reality headset. Now, if you don't know what augmented reality is, it's combining a virtual dimension with what we currently have. I'll put some links up to some Microsoft stuff the Microsoft HoloLens stuff in the description. But I actually got to watch someone do a live demo with I watched their live demo of HoloLens. And if the technology works as I saw it work on screen there, I'm really excited for where this is going to be going. If anything, the only thing that could come out of this would be the fact that you don't have to use a real screen anymore. We're thinking about moving it all into AR, kind of a AR focused, any wall can be your screen. So think of it like a projector mounted on your face. Very interesting, very cool. Technology is being developed in such unique and interesting ways nowadays. I can't wait to see where we go in the next couple of years. Alright, now that was it for all the regular news I have for today. So, if you're not interested in hearing anything about the League Championship Series, you can go ahead and stop watching now. Thank you, you guys have a wonderful day. I'm sure I'll see you tomorrow. Now, for those of you interested in sticking around, I'm going to talk about the League Championship Series, because, man, it just started this weekend, and I am super happy with the results. Alright, so first thing I'm going to talk about is that coaches are allowed in picks and bans now, and that is absolutely interesting because I keep seeing a lot of high-level play, obviously coming out of these high-level teams. But I just see it working in such a neat way. You get to see really good team matchups. You really see the people listening when the coach is actually trying to give them some strategy for the intro of the game. And you really get to see just this. People are punishing mistakes now. People are coming back and they're taking revenge when you mess up. If you take a step in the wrong spot, teams will take advantage of that now, and they will not stop you, or they will not stop and they will not let go. So don't make any mistakes, or else your game's probably messed up. Man, I got to watch a handful of these games over the weekend, and I was amazed. Some of the absolutely unchallenged rank of play that is going on in these games this year. Absolutely amazing. Alright, so current standings we have, I'll try and put them up here, but the current standings we have are for the European LCS. We got Fnatic with 2-0, Giants Gaming with 2-0, SK Gaming with 2-0, Copenhagen Wolves 1-1, Elements 1-1, Rockcat 1-1, Unicorns of Love 1-1, Gambit 0-2, H2K Gaming 0-2, and Meet Your Makers at 0-2. Now, not a big surprise there with Fnatic and Giants and SK all being on top. Those guys have always been big in the past. I think they'll always be big every year at the LCS. Really, really going to take it home. I've seen Fnatic play. They're doing absolutely amazing, really just taking control of that field. I love seeing that. I love seeing it happen. Giants and SK also both had very amazing games for their first two games. Absolutely impressive. I loved watching Giants really get their grip and then really execute their final moves. Absolute fantastic play from them. Some people to keep an eye on this year, Elements. Elements actually lost their first game against Fnatic. Big surprise, big upset. Most people were expecting Elements to actually turn out on top there. So keep an eye on Fnatic, and keep an eye on Elements, see how they do. Now, Unicorns of Love. They started off really strong. I watched their game against Meet Your Maker. They, in general, did pretty okay, but they just couldn't end up They ended up pulling it back on their own strength, and they ended up really just working together as a team super well. I love seeing that. I love seeing good team play coming out here, and I love seeing the amazing team comps. Alright guys, talking about the North American LCS now. We got Team Liquid at 2-0, Counter Logic Gaming at 1-1, Gravity at 1-1, Team 8 at 1-1, Team Coast at 1-1, Dignitas at 1-1, Team Impulse at 1-1, Team Solo Mid at 1-1, WinterFox at 1-1, and Cloud9 at 0-2. Now I'd really like to talk about the big upsets this year of Dignitas, or not Dignitas, of TSM and Cloud9 both getting beat out in their second games. Now these two giants from last year, we just didn't expect them to get beat out. Cloud9, of course, getting beat out by Team Coast. Or Team Gravity, actually. Gravity beat Cloud9. That was an upset, bit of a throw-off. Although Gravity has been doing really amazing this year on their plays and really team coordination. I love watching them play. I love seeing the teams happen. I'm a little surprised that Cloud9 is 0-2 this year. Now, let's talk about the winner, obviously. Who's doing the best end of week 1? Team Liquid. Now, Team Liquid is out there really just... Their team communication while they're actually in play is on point. They've got great vision control the entire game, and they're all over the map. They know exactly where people are going and exactly when to attack, and they do it. And they are not very cautious about it. They are aggressive when they need to be, and they defend when they need to defend. But overall, we've seen Team Liquid come out 2-0. Absolutely amazing. Some of the best games I've seen all year. Alright guys, that's been it for Stoned in the AM. Again, this is January 26th, 2015. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm sure I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.